An activist who escaped Belarus is found dead in Ukraine. Here's what's coming up.
As I've said, it's a suicide and a premeditated murder meant to look like suicide. There are two main versions.
The investigation is underway while new questions arise on the government's harsh treatment of critics. Plus,
just to have one more opportunity to compete at the Olympics meant the world to me.
After dropping out of all other events, US gymnastics superstar Simone Bile takes bronze in the balance beam. And later, as Zambia prepares for elections in just over a week, the military has been deployed in the capital to stop political violence. Hello, I'm Lynda Kinkade, live at the CNN headquarters here in Atlanta, and this is One World. Belarus is often called Europe's last dictatorship, and today there are new questions over the government's crackdown on dissidents. An investigation is underway right now after a Belarusian activist was found dead in Ukraine. Vitaly Shishov was found hanged in a park in Kiev with scrapes on his face and body. Police say they're investigating whether it was suicide or a murder made to look like one. Shishov led a group that helps Belarusians flee persecution. His group says he had been under surveillance shortly before he died. It comes as a Belarusian opposition leader, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, met the British Prime Minister in London, where she demanded more pressure on her country's government. One of that government's latest targets, an Olympian who refused to be sent home from Tokyo after criticising national sporting authorities. Kristina Timanovskya has received a humanitarian visa from Poland, and the International Olympic Committee is now investigating. Well, I want to get more now from CNN's Nick Paton-Walsh, who joins us now live from London. Good to see you, Nick. Just tell us what more you know about this dissident, because police have opened a murder investigation, but they haven't completely ruled out suicide.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because of the nature of Vitaly Shishov's work, many are wondering whether or not there could have been the involvement of the Belarusian authoritarian government in killing this dissident. But I have to say that would be an outlier action for them, not something they've done in the past, although we have seen them in the past months cause the forced landing of a Ryanair airplane just so they can arrest an opposition blogger and, as you talked about earlier on, it seems try and force home an Olympic athlete from Tokyo. But Shishov's body was found in a park outside of Kiev, the Ukrainian capital, where he seems to have been running. His mobile phone found near him. Now, as you say, police at a press conference there in Ukraine talked about abrasions, skin peeled off, mostly his face. Police say that could possibly have been the result of a one-time fall, maybe something that went wrong, or the cause caused by the hanging that was inflicted upon him. As you say, they're also looking at the possibilities, two of them, that this was a suicide or murder made to look like suicide. I think exceptionally hard for those working with Mr. Shishov in Kiev to get their heads round this extraordinary act. Many possibly concerned, as I said, that this is to do with some sort of revenge of the Belarusian government. Other theories circulating too as well. But again, a reminder, I think, for many Belarusians of the risks they take in opposing the Lukashenko government, and obviously for those in Kiev, some of the tens of thousands of Belarusian dissidents now living abroad in Belarus's neighbouring countries, a real sign of the risks they endure daily, Lynda.
All right, Nick Paton-Walsh for us from London covering this important story. We will speak to you again soon. Thanks so much. Well, US gymnastics star Simone Biles made her Tokyo 2020 comeback today on the balance beam, earning a standing ovation and a bronze medal behind Chinese gymnasts Guan Chen and Tang Shi-jing, who took gold and silver. Biles' participation was far from a certainty after she withdrew from the women's team final, as well as several individual events, putting a spotlight on athletes' mental health. CNN World Sport anchor Alex Thomas joins me now from London, and clearly everyone wanted to watch Simone Biles to see how she did, and by the sounds of it, she didn't even expect to win a medal.
Yeah, and we didn't know whether she was going to turn up at all. This was her last chance to win any sort of medal at these Tokyo Olympics. As you say, having already skipped 4 other possibilities to add to that haul of 4 gold medals she won so famously back at Rio 2016. Biles with that and a host of world titles. And lots of interesting new complicated moves has really raised the bar for women's gymnastics, which is why she was called the greatest of all time, or the GOAT, going into this Games. Even had a social media emoji made in her honour. And yet it totally took us by surprise when she pulled out of all these events, coming back very bravely to contest the balance beam final, saying purely because it involved no twisting. Such had her confidence deserted her. And she talked about that earlier when she had pulled out of these events. And she talked about it some more after claiming a bronze medal earlier on Tuesday.
To bring the topic of mental health, I think it should be talked about a lot more, especially with athletes, because I know some of us are going through the same things and we're always told to push through it, but we're all a little bit older now and we could kind of speak for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're not just entertainment, we're humans, and there are things going on behind the scenes that we're also trying to juggle with as well on top of sports.
So that's the end of Simone Biles' Tokyo Olympics. The question is, what about her sporting future now? She was asked about that, but said she was going to take some time to consider. Clearly, if that's a crisis of confidence when it comes to the complicated twists and turns in the air that gymnasts of her ability need to go through, there's going to be a serious question mark. But obviously, we all wish her well after bravely opening up about her inner turmoils.
Yeah, she really is a leader, not just in that sport, but for any athlete going through mental health issues. Alex, I want to also ask you about track and field, because there was a female athlete from Namibia who took silver in the 200-metre final, but because of her naturally high testosterone levels, she was barred from competing in the 400 metres. Just explain that to us.
Yeah, I mean, 2 fascinating things about this women's 200 metres final. Firstly, we've got to mention, of course, the winner, Elaine Hera-Thompson from Jamaica, the first ever woman to defend her Olympic sprint double. She won the 100 and 200 metres in Rio and has done it again now in Tokyo. Her time of 21.53 seconds, the second fastest in history. And an amazing run to the finish line right at the end from the woman in second place, 18-year-old Kristina Mboma of Namibia. And you're right, she is a DSD athlete, or differences of sex development athlete, which means she's got unusually and naturally occurring high levels of testosterone in her body. World Athletics, the governing body for track and field, brought in new rules in recent years saying that if that's the case for you, then you can do one of 3 things: either take a daily contraceptive pill, have a monthly injection, or undergo surgery to bring those testosterone levels down to an acceptable limit for at least 6 months, and all the time during those 6 months up to and beginning competition. She couldn't do that, wasn't able to do that, wasn't willing able to do that, so she had to change her event from 400 metres to 200 metres, because these rules only cover events between 400 and the mile.
Yeah, certainly a really interesting case there. And still on track and field, Norway has set a new record in the men's hurdles with quite a dramatic shirt ripping. Tell us more.
I knew you'd go straight to the shirt ripping, Lynda, but I mean, this is a race that's going down as one of the greatest Olympic finals of all time. You know, we all knew that Karsten Warholm was in tremendous form going into it. This is the Norwegian who'd already set a new world record in the men's 400 metres hurdles. And he did it again in the final, but not just by a little bit, by more than half a second, becoming the first man to dip under that 46-second barrier. I mean, his time of 45.94 is a sort of fast time that would have been acceptable in the men's 400 metres flat with no hurdles maybe 10, 20 years ago. The USA's Rai Benjamin coming second in a time that would have been the world record but for this amazing incident. And as you say, Karsten's so surprised after crossing the line, rips open his jersey as if he were to reveal an S for Superman. It wasn't, it's just his naked chest underneath, actually. But you can understand how surprised he was. Take a listen.
I think it's just an honor to be a part of it, and I never thought in my wildest imagination that this would be possible.
I would say this was probably the best race ever in Olympic history. I don't think any other race compares to what we just did.
My colleague Amanda Davis spoke to US hurdling legend Ed Moses, who was unbeaten for about 10 years in the 1970s and 80s, and he agreed it was the greatest race he'd ever seen.
Yep, certainly Superman feat there. Alex Thomas, as always, good to see you. Thanks so much.